Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stefan and this is the French Cooking Academy. If you're a new subscriber, welcome to you and thanks for subscribing. Now, I'm sure you all know the question, what am I gonna cook tonight? Especially when you finish work or if you're in single parents and you got kids coming over and you really don't feel like cooking, or maybe you didn't have time to buy many ingredients. Well, these things also happen in France and we do also have simple, what I call pantry recipes. It's a recipe that only takes a few ingredients and minimum time. This is what we're going to see today, and the recipe, it's called côte de porc Parisienne or pork cutlet Parisian style. Now it can be made with either pork or chicken breast, and it's a very simple sauce that is made with cream, onion, garlic and mushroom. That's it. Salt, pepper, the meat, and you're done. So let's jump in and make that easy recipe. Parisian cutlet recipe. Now, what is the big story behind this and why is it called like this? Well, really, I think it's not like a classic recipe, but it's more of a name that has been given to a recipe that's been really a go-to recipe for many years for people, I think, in the Paris region. If you're a French person, this is actually the version of the escalope à la crème et aux champignons that you all know. Very simple. Now, the reason why this is a go-to recipe is because of the actual French pantry, you see. Every French person in their pantry always have at least onion, garlic, and very often even crème fraîche or some kind of cream. So when you're looking at something to make and you think of making that recipe, you know you don't need to buy much at all because you got the onions, you got the garlic, you maybe already have the cream. The only two things you need to buy is jump in a supermarket, get some mushrooms, and either a piece of chicken or a piece of pork, and you're done. This is why it is a go-to recipe. Now, the precise ingredients will be listed in the video description. But as a rough guide, you know, you got the mushroom, crème fraîche, onion, garlic. These are some pastas, like some fancy one I'm going to serve with it. And these are the two pork cutlets I've already seasoned with salt and pepper. Now, let's do that simple recipe. In order to start that recipe, what I like to do personally is to start with the onions. As simple as this recipe is, it is also important to always keep in mind this little technical aspect of anything you cook. Now, onions, one thing you should know about them is that they take actually very long and at least 10 to 15 minutes in order to really be cooked. So because this is a fast recipe, make sure you slice your onion very thin, so they're very thinly sliced, and you're going to leave them on a medium heat. Don't overheat the thing, you know, let them gently sizzle like this for at least 4 to 5 minutes on a gentle heat before we start the meat. A few minutes later, you can start to add your meat, and we're just gonna color the meat first on either side before we add the other ingredients. After a few minutes, like 2, maybe 3 minutes, a little bit of coloration, I'm gonna turn this on this side, and already I'm gonna add the mushrooms in there because this is a one-pot recipe. You can throw everything in. And the garlic, sorry. All right. When you're here, you leave your meat to cook on the side, and start to make that little mix of mushrooms and onion simmer on the sides of the cutlets. 3 or 4 minutes later, you can turn your cutlets. You see it starts to brown a little bit, so be careful with the heat again. Heat adjustment and temperature control, these are the key words. Medium heat, I think it's fine, because even though you will think, oh, it's not going to cook, I'm going to put the heat up, it does cook, and look at that. It gets brown already. So as soon as it's brown, we're gonna add the cream in already. Crème fraîche, put it in, and there's no real measurement. You know, this is like maybe 3 or 4 tablespoons. You can put less, you can put more. It's up to you. Now, this is an interesting shot actually. Do you see the brown here and the white here? Now, this is exactly what tells you that that is the taste that will go in your sauce. This is the taste of the meat juices plus the mushrooms and onion. They're gonna mix with the cream to make that special tasty sauce. Very important to have that. Nicely done. So when you're here, basically you can add a little bit of salt. I've just tasted, and then I think it lacks a little bit of salt in there, so I'm adding a little bit. And I'm gonna leave this to reduce for just a few minutes until it thickens a bit. Now, as a small tip, first off, I put a pasta in. I wanted to show you that. But if you think your mix is gonna overcook and it's, you put too much cream, it's gonna take too much time to reduce, put this on a tray like this, like I've done, and keep on reducing your sauce for a few minutes while the meat rests on the side. When you get a nice creamy consistency, as always, a little bit of fresh parsley in there. It adds some color and some fresh flavors, very important. You can see the difference. It's more appetizing to have something like that, and you can then put your cutlets back in and it's ready to serve. It is that easy. My pasta should be done. We're gonna dress it on the plate.